There was a poll just came out from Rasmussen. Rasmussen tends to lean right. The poll shows that a slim majority of Americans oppose allowing male to female transgender athletes to compete in women's sporting events, meaning men who are pretending to be women, can they compete in women's sporting events and then almost inevitably beat them at them because men are physically stronger? The good news is a majority of Americans still think that's wrong. The bad news is it's only 51%. 29% of Americans think it's totally fine to let men compete against women and beat them. And 20% are undecided. But this is moving in a pretty bad direction here. And it's by the way, entering into the school systems now. So there was an organization that was, I think it's called LGBT Questions or something. It's putting out a proposed curriculum to teach elementary school students, very, very young students, this gender ideology, to indoctrinate them in a completely unscientific gender ideology that tells you that boys can be girls and girls can be boys. Here's just a clip from it.
Hi, I'm Nadine, a sex educator.
And I'm Eva, a sex researcher.
I use the pronouns she and her because I'm a woman, and when I was your age, I used to be a girl.
Gender is how you feel on the inside about whether you're a boy or a girl, a man or a woman. If you're non-binary, feel like neither or both. People can also be fluid, feel more like female, more like male, based on a different day or time. It's really individual.
Absolutely.
Everyone born with a vulva is a girl. True or false?
Or identifies as a girl. Well, not everybody is sure, and that makes sense. But our genitals actually don't determine our gender. So some people born with vulvas can be boys.
So what I love about this clip, I mean, it's a horrifying clip, but what I love about this clip is they say, so, okay, boys can't become girls just by thinking it, right? All people who are boys, right? And how many people think that? And then all the kids raise their hands because the kids, they don't know maybe, advanced calculus, but they know basic biological facts. They say, yeah, that's right. Boys are boys and girls are girls. They say, actually, that isn't true. So they're indoctrinating these kids younger and younger. They have to do it because their religion of leftism is so disconnected from reality. Then they go on, they have a person who's a woman who now identifies as a man, telling children that they can be whatever sex they want to be.
I have been through the spectrum, if we were to say a spectrum of like boys and girls, I have been everywhere in between. I was born a girl, and then when I was 2 years old, I told my mom for the first time that I was a boy. And I think that I framed it, I don't remember it, I've only been told stories, but I framed it because my brother's middle name was the same as my dad's. And so I insisted that my middle name was also the same as his. But back in the day, there was no talk shows and there was no internet, there was no resources. So she just ignored it. And then nothing happened for many, many years. And then it still took me a long time into my 20s before I decided to transition. But in there, I was a tomboy, if that's what we say, or like I was sporty, I had short hair.
Look at how exploitative this is, or look at all the advocacy here. This isn't just presenting some facts to children. It's not presenting any facts to children, it's presenting fantasy. But the suggestion here is, look, I was a tomboy. It's if you're a tomboy, you're actually the opposite sex. Yeah, I had short hair. Maybe if you've got short hair, maybe you're the opposite sex. It's horrifying. I mean, it's horrifying to subject children to this kind of sexual confusion at such a young age, to subject them to such a bizarre, radical, new ideology that has no basis in science, and it's only been around for a few years. But they're doing it. They're doing it because leftism is a totalizing religion. And this is not just something that's neutral with the neutral government. The government is pushing this on kids. Why? Because education is intrinsically coercive. You can't just be educated by consent because you're being taught a curriculum, right? So you consent to go to school, but then you are taught from a teacher who has a different power dynamic than a student does, and they're teaching you something. That's why you have fears about political indoctrination rather than proper education. We have to acknowledge that this leftism is the state religion. Michael Knowles here. The fact is, these cigars are not cheap. Please be sure to subscribe to the Daily Wire on YouTube. Yes, it will help us to keep this show going. Yes, it will help us to spread a conservative message around the country. Most importantly, it will allow me to continue to afford cigars. The body is a temple, and the temple needs incense. Thank you very much for your support.